Hello and welcome back to New Wave Hockey. I'm your host, Link Dancevich, and it has been too long. It's been way too long. I've been gone. It's my senior year here at Syracuse University. I will explain why I've been gone so long in the comments, but today we have to get to the 2026 NHL Draft. I have been a little bit late to uploading this video, but it's given me lots of time to reflect and see who really is in this field this year, who really are the first rounders in this draft class. And man, do I have a lot of honorable mentions. This is a very loaded and deep class, even though it's not tremendously top heavy. We'll get into it, but oh man, I love the depth of this class, specifically in the defensemen. But let me not get too ahead of myself. Today we'll be going over 32 prospects, and let's be honest, 15 or so honorable mentions. I have a lot of guys that are on my radar to potentially slide into the first round of the NHL Draft. Now, a couple of updates. I have a new job now. I'm working with McKeen's as well. I'm working as a North American scout for them, so I've actually been traveling to see a bunch of these games as well. I've seen Gavin McKenna in Penn State. I got to see Keaton Verhof and Clarkson. I even got to see some guys who were drafted last year with James Hagens when I went to RPI this year. And I've got a big announcement as well. I'm going to the World Juniors in Minnesota this January. Very exciting, I know. So getting all those announcements out of the way, getting everything out of the way, here is my top 32 for this year's NHL Draft. Starting off with number 1, it's still super obvious. It's our boy, Gavin McKenna. Penn State has been honestly on the rise this year. They've had expectation for the first time ever this year. Last year, they made the Frozen Four, but now they have Gavin McKenna, and man, he has been, I would say, irrefutably brilliant this year. Despite what people have said about his game, Gavin McKenna has played, I think, really solidly so far for Penn State. He has been an excellent distributor. He has shown that he can drive offense. One of the key things to remember with Gavin McKenna here is that he's not playing on the top line, and it's not really all his fault. Charlie Serrato, JJ Webush, and Nick DiMarisco have been playing on the top line essentially since last year for Penn State, and why would Guy Godowski break that line up? He's been playing with Aiden Fink, who currently is injured right now. Right now, Gavin McKenna is going through the toughest minutes of his season right now. Went through the gauntlet of a Michigan State team, which they got swept by, and they split with Michigan, and he was able to record some points for that outing, but man, it was a tough outing for him. I'm not going to lie, you're not going to turn to Gavin McKenna for defense. He's 6 foot and just around 160 pounds, but the playmaking upside, the scoring ability that he's exhibited, and just the downright elusivity of his game has been, in my opinion, just downright disgusting. He's been absolutely the best prospect in the NCAA so far this year. I think it would take a lot more than people are saying to knock him out of the first overall discussion. Maybe a Keaton Verhof heater, but we'll get into that again. Number 2 for me is going to be from Frölunda in the SHL, Ivar Stenberg. Stenberg has started off the year very, very hot. He plays a similar game to Gavin McKenna and has 15 points in 19 games with Frölunda. Him and Gavin McKenna have the exact same stat line: 4 goals, 11 assists for 15 points. Except Stenberg's played more games in, I would argue, a tougher league. He's been brilliant, and his playmaking ability has been great, not to the level of McKenna's. His elusivity with the puck has been tremendous as well. It's really hard to knock him off the puck, but it's also really hard to kind of hit him because he's really elusive. His edges are great, and him and McKenna are both projecting to be really solid, offensively dynamic wings in the NHL. What they're doing in terms of points has been incredible, and honestly, I just want to see them keep it up. Stenberg's been great right now. For now, he's earned this number 2 spot. I mean, when you put up 15 points in your first 19 games this year in the SHL, you've earned that for me. I really think we're looking at one of the best prospects to come out of Sweden since Leo Carlson. I think he models more like a Lucas Raymond, and he's going to be really solid in the NHL one day. Now at number 3, I have Keaton Verhof, a guy that I've seen in person, actually, and I'm very excited to say he really looks solid. I mean, when you can get a 6'4" right-handed shot defenseman who can score the way that he can, man, watch out. There are a lot of things in Keaton Verhof's game, though, that I really would love to see be polished. I'm going to be able to see him a couple more times this year, but he has 8 points through his first 12 NCAA games, and he's been turning up his assists slightly more over his last few games. North Dakota has been a wagon throughout this year, and he has really been a good part of why they've been so successful. He is on their top power play at the size that he is, and he's very mobile, but I would say skating is a concern for me, especially on back checks. He hasn't really been taking fantastic angles on defense. He's been limited as a rush defender, and he's been limited in the zone as well. Additionally, towards the blue line, I believe he tries too much. Yes, it works with skill players like McKenna and Stenberg because naturally they're going to improve with more reps, but with Keaton Verhof, I don't want him to develop bad habits at the blue line as a defender. And if he wants to develop as that two-way menace that everyone wants him to be, he's got to clean up what he does along the blue line. But otherwise, we're really looking at a special prospect with a very special set of tools with Keaton Verhof. At number 4, I have Ethan Belchez from the Windsor Spitfires. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting to talk about this guy for a long time. The power forward archetype has pretty much been perfected with Ethan Belchez. The pure strength that he exudes is just a wonder, as he has been quite literally all skill and all power as well. The offensive instincts he has in the offensive zone are super impressive. It has made him a really well-rounded scorer, where other players at his size just simply use their body for everything. He's been using his hands. He's been using his skating, and it's shown. He has 16 goals through 21 games this year at the time of this recording. Let me just reemphasize with the clips that you've just been seeing, Ethan Belchez is 6'5" and weighs 230 pounds as a 17-year-old. That's ridiculous. He's drawn comparisons from JVR to Mark Stone, and I think his outlook for the future is even more optimistic. He really can make a name for himself this season, and he's got all of the season left to do it. I personally think Ethan Belchez could rise to as high as 2nd overall, maybe even push Gavin McKenna. That's how confident I feel in him so far as a prospect, and man, he really looks like a top line winger that every general manager will be clamoring to grab inside the latter picks of this draft. At number 5, I have Tyen Lawrence, the highest rated center in this draft, in my opinion, and pretty much the entire hockey world's opinion as well. He does not turn 18 until August 3rd. That's kind of ridiculous. He's an offensively dynamic player in this class. I would just say the offense is the main selling point for him as well. However, I will admit that I'm judging him based on the stuff that he showed us last season. He's been injured for a lot of this year. He re-aggravated a leg injury that he had going out of last year, and he's only played 2 games so far to this point as the captain of the Muskegon Lumberjacks, but he had a fantastic year last year. Hopefully he shows improvement. He did show improvement through the Hlinka Gretzky. He is still the highest rated center in this class. His work ethic remains elite, along with his incredible hands, his really solid shot. I really think he is a high top 6 center, if not a first line center, with very high power play and PK potential. Now at number 6, we're getting interesting here. Carson Carroll slots in as my 6th best player in this draft class. He has taken hold of this spot for me, and he's earned every single second of it. He is a left-hand shot, 6'2", two-way defender, but his mobility, his ability to defend the rush, his ability to jump into the offensive zone has been otherworldly for me. He is just a shut-down two-way defenseman, and this guy has been class. He's been absolutely incredible. He hasn't been as dynamic as Zavier Vnv or Ryan Lynn, and he isn't as defensively inclined as like an Albert Smits or William Hawkinson, but he is the most NHL type defenseman that you can see. You watch his games, you watch his tape, and you're like, okay, this type of hockey will translate to the NHL. Just the way that he's been able to defend rushes, the way that he's acted in the neutral zone, the way he's been able to transition the puck, the way that he's generated offense despite not really being the most offensively inclined defenseman. I've been a huge fan of him. I think he has the most complete defensive game in this entire class so far, and there's a reason why I have him this high. He really is someone that I would love to draft at 6th overall. At 7th, I have another defenseman, and we have a run on defenseman, just, shaping you up here. Chase Reed from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. He is another two-way menace, and he is physical. He is downright mean at some points, and he's a skater, and he's aggressive. One of the biggest things and the biggest takeaways to take from Chase Reed is that he may not be as polished as Carson Carroll's, but man, does he work. This guy is a fighter. This guy is a back checker, and he is someone who will join the rush. He's very, very exciting. He has a wonderful story of perseverance as well, because he was playing in the NAHL 2 seasons ago after not making the USHL's Waterloo Blackhawks. His unorthodox path has created a hunger that you kind of can see in every single shift that he's had this year. His ceiling definitely looks to be a top pairing or top pairing support role right now, and I have no problem projecting him on the penalty kill and on the second power play. Continuing the run of defensemen, at number 8, I have Albert Smits, who projects to probably be the highest drafted Latvian player ever. He might be the most NHL ready of the bunch. I know Carson Carroll has the most NHL style of play, the most complete, but there's something about Albert Smits, man. He's really taking hold of that men's league over there in Finland. The Liga has been almost too easy for him. His skating has been excellent. The way that he's been able to drive offense for Ukraine. As a 17-year-old defenseman, he has been something special. And the physicality that he plays with, the smarts that he plays with, I think has been unmatched. It's why he's been projected to play for Latvia's not only World Juniors team, but Olympic team as well. That would be something really cool to see. He's slowed down a little bit in terms of scoring, but man, he is still something very special to look out for. He's exciting, he's exhilarating, and he will knock you out of the way. I think we're looking at a very raw but very high potential defensive prospect here. He might rise even higher on my list before season's end. At number 9, continuing the run on defenseman yet again, Daxon Rudolph from the Prince Albert Raiders. At this point, I really don't know what to do with Daxon Rudolph because I see the potential. His tools are out of this world. 6'2", 200 plus pounds, right-hand shot. His top speed, his shot, his passing ability, his offensive instincts are well documented, and they are pretty solid. However, the performance that he's put up this season has left me less than confident. I'm a little bit worried about what he projects to be. He has a better awareness than that, but there are times where I feel like he feels a little bit disengaged with the puck and without the puck as well. He has been more of a shutdown guy, but sometimes he struggles in the defensive zone. It's been hard for me to really gauge where to rank him, and he's someone that honestly is the most fluid on this entire list. He could be as high as maybe the second best defenseman in this class, or he could drop out of the top 20 entirely for me. We'll see what goes on with him. I think someone with the tools that he has will always be appealing to an NHL team, especially around the top 10. And right now, he's scoring enough to honestly make a difference for Prince Albert as well. It's hard for me to take him out of the top 10, so for right now, I've got Daxon Rudolph here. And at 10, for my top 10, another defenseman, Zavier Vnv for the Blainville, Boisbriand, Armada. Though he is shorter than you would like, I promise you, Zavier Vnv is the most dynamic defensive prospect in this entire class. His offensive game is truly brilliant, and it stems from just how damn elusive he is. I've been saying that word a lot, elusive, but it comes from his skating. It comes from his stick handling. The offensive game has just been brilliant. The Lane Hudson comparisons have been flying out of every single outlet, and honestly, I'm going to be drumming the same beat. This guy looks like a Lane Hudson, and he's honestly better than Lane Hudson was during his draft year. I've loved every second of tape that I have watched this year from the offensive zone. However, the long-term outlook of Villeneuve is what everyone is questioning when they're projecting him. Small defensemen are very scary to take in a draft, especially, if for every Quinn Hughes you have another Adam Bookvis. I think it's crucial to look at the cases of Zeev Buium and Zane Parekh over the last 2 seasons to really gauge where Villeneuve and the guy who I have ranked behind him will land in this class. But man, I'm confident in Villeneuve. If I really think that he is going to exhibit these habits in the NHL, honestly, his ceiling is unknown. I think he could end up landing in the top 5. Now at 11, I have Ryan Lynn from the Vancouver Giants. The guy that came into this year as the consensus second best defenseman in this class has kind of taken a step back for me. He is 5'11", yes, but he's been exhibiting some exciting offensive defenseman traits in this early stage of the draft. He's been really solid and really quick and really kind of elusive, not to use that word again, in the offensive and defensive zones as well. I've liked the way that he's been able to retrieve pucks and transition a little bit. However, he's not a great neutral zone defender. He's not a great transition guy. He's been able to transition well, but with the pass. There are a lot of details in Ryan Lynn's game that kind of make me worried. I think that his skill set is really solid for the WHL, but I'm a little bit worried about how he'll translate to the NHL. He could fall even further than 11, and I honestly wouldn't be too surprised. His defensive game hasn't been tremendous. His offensive game hasn't been as dynamic as you would have liked. So for me, he's taken a step back to 11. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. All the hype is still kind of on his shoulders as well. So we'll see how he continues to round out through the rest of this year. Now at number 12, I have VGO Bork from Djurgårdens in Sweden. Look, say whatever you want about the size, say whatever you want about his projectability, but what I will always say, he has been putting up points in the SHL. Yes, it's tough because, again, he is in the Swede-making factory that is known as Djurgårdens, but he's earning those minutes. They are sheltered minutes, I will 100% say, and I think he's getting a tougher slate than his teammates Anton Frundell and Victor Eklund got last year when they were in the Allsvenskan. He is facing tougher competition by far, and he's still scoring, and he's still putting up points, and he still looks really solid in the Five Nations tournament for Sweden. He's still an offensively dynamic player, and though he's 5'10", he's 5'9". I think it's important to kind of reward him for what he's been showing us in this early stage. Now, do I think he's going to stay in this top 20? No. I'm still trying to figure out where he fits in an NHL lineup. It's kind of tough, but if he can improve his speed, if he can improve his skating, if he can show more of the grit and more of the fight that he's shown in this early part of the season, honestly, I have no problem keeping him in the top 15. But right now, it's important to just reward him for what he's done so far and kind of see what he's going to do in the future. At 13, I have another Swede, and it's Elton Hermanson. I've been a big fan of this guy for a while. I think you guys will remember I had him in my top 10 when I was first talking about this draft class in last year. But he's been one of the best shooters in this entire class. He's playing in the Allsvenskan for Modo, and he's honestly, in my opinion, been their second best player behind Milton Gastrin. He has been really solid. He's been showing off a lot of great traits. He's been back playing with the U20 squad, but that's only just after the Five Nations tournament. He has 4 goals in the year. He has 7 points of the year in 10 games, and I think the more time he gets in the Allsvenskan, the better he's going to show off his game, his highly intelligent game, his sneaky playmaking game. His skating has been solid, but I wouldn't say game-breaking. His straight line speed will need to improve if he wants to push for the top 10. I think his high floor really is the biggest thing driving me to rank him this high. I think he can be a safe top 6 winger in this 10 to 20 range of this draft. So from right now, he's locked in this area between 12 and 20, and I kind of don't want to move him. He's been brilliant this year. He's shown a lot of NHL translatable traits, and yeah, I like Elton Hermanson at 13 here. Now at 14, I have a guy who was, if I'm being honest, 10 spots higher before any games were being played. Ryan Rubrek has a fantastic set of skills that he can exhibit on the ice. However, it's his will to deploy those skills that has been worrying me. He's been gaining back some support from me and from others. Some guys don't think he's too far gone as other players, but at the beginning of the year, I've been honestly worried with his consistency. I've been worried with what type of player he is without the puck. I've been worried with his compete because he and Ethan Belchez should be competing for who's the best big, tall player in this draft class. But Ryan Rubrek, I mean, he's got 21 points in 20 games. He should be able to dominate. He put up 40 goals last year. He had 80-something points last year. And now, this is his time. This is his draft year. He can show everyone everything. He has not been as dynamic. He has not been as dominant as scouts would have wanted. And obviously, it's unfair. Bigger players have a bigger spotlight on them, especially because scouts want to see them perform and be the next Eric Lindros and whatnot. But I will say I've personally been frustrated with Rubrek, and I'm going to see him in person this year, hopefully, and I hope that he doesn't disappoint me. I'm keeping him in my top 15 for now. Some people have dropped him even lower. I think with the tools that he has, the skill set that he has, no matter what his compete is, he ranks for me as at least a top 20 prospect, let alone a top 15 prospect. I think people are being really hard on him, but we'll see how the rest of the year goes. I'm willing to give him a mulligan for the first 20 games. Let's see how you do for your next 20 games. At 15, I have Matthysse Preston from the Spokane Chiefs. He is an explosive forward who has the potential to inject life into a Spokane team which lost their 3-star forwards last season. However, the early returns have not been too exciting. I'm willing to give him a runway because he is a late July birthday, but him and another Spokane Chief forward I like, Chase Harrington, have honestly been disappointing to this point this season. I don't really know what to make of their games. Preston has game-breaking speed. He is really elusive. He has incredible stick handling. However, he is almost always on the perimeter. For some reason, he can't get to the middle of the ice. His confidence attacking defenses head-on aside, he has still put up a solid amount of points considering the lack of help he's received, and I still believe that his skill will prevail and he will gain the confidence throughout the year and maybe have that breakout season that everyone's thinking that he will. If not, then Corey Proman's recent ranking for Preston at 28 will look less like an outlier and more like the norm. At number 16, I have Malte Gustoson from HV71 in the SHL. I mean, 6'4", left-hand shot defenseman, around 200 pounds, mobile as all hell. It's the archetype for NHL teams to draft now, defensemen like this. He's kind of used the J20 as a playground because he's been way too good for them so far, and he's acted like a safety valve for HV71 this season, and he's been shutting down defensemen on rushes and been highly mobile in neutral ice. The point still stands that he can still be a great support to an offensive cycle, but he is not as flashy as some of the higher ranked defensemen on this list. He projects as a more safe, higher floor defenders, plopping down in the middle of this first round. At 17, I have Nikita Klepov from the Saginaw Spirit. Here is a very exciting forward to talk about. He picked up where he left off from the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, where he's having a stellar performance in this OHL season. He's got an all-around game. He's got an all-around score set with 14 goals and 18 assists for 32 points in 22 games. He's not as good as Mesa, of course, right? But he's been pretty dominant in the OHL and has turned Saginaw into a really solid team yet again this year with his teammate Igor Barabanov. I think his progression as a skater and stick handler has been night and day from last season in the USHL, and despite this progression, he still seems like his floor is uncertain. It's going to be tough for him to really hold down a projection for me. He could look like he's a top 15 guy one day and then be just outside the first round another day, but I really think he has been putting out more consistently good performances now. I really like his upside for the first round. I think people are going to really like his top 6 or middle 6 upside. I really believe in a guy like Nikita Klepov. At 18, Oliver Suanto. People are going to complain that I'm not high enough on this guy because he is a big, rough, and tough forward. His offensive upside is what's really been drawing back for me in the Liga. And yes, he is playing in a slower, heavier league of the Liga. He is really physical inside the dots, along the boards, and then the defensive zone in particular. We're looking at somebody who, if he translates, will be consistently getting Selke votes every single year. The offensive upside, like I said, is the big issue for me. I don't know where this guy really is going to land in terms of how many points he can create. Yeah, there was the Hlinka Gretzky where he was really solid on that line, but again, that's just a tournament. It's not your whole season. He needs to show more right now. However, I will say, him not turning 18 till September, major bonus points. You can expect him to move up the list every single ranking that I have this year, but for now, I have him at 18. At 19, I have Adam Noatne from the Peterborough Petes, a solid check forward who showed up massively defensively last year for HK Mountfield in the Czech League. Now he's over in the OHL, and he had a bit of a slow start, but he's gaining momentum. He's showing that upside as a goal scorer. He's showing that upside as a really solid two-way forward that you can kind of rely on. He has not been as impressive as his Czech League performances, and I want to see, and obviously everyone wants to see him lay the body more, but I really think he's put in a really solid performance, and the talent alone is putting him inside of the top 20. It's more about the effort and the other sides to his game that I think really will show in the coming weeks that will put him over the top and maybe put him into the top 15 yet. At 20, I have the hottest player in junior hockey right now, JP Hurlbert. This guy played at the USNTDP last season. Now he's with Kamloops, and he has, wait for it, 14 goals, 24 assists, and 38 points in 22 games. This guy is setting the WHL ablaze. He really has been highly intelligent. He's been an offensive driver for Kamloops, but I think the main thing that's been holding him back for me, his skating, his shot, and his size. They've all pretty much been average. He's just been using his sense, his positioning, and his just downright grit to get all these points, and that's something that I've been able to respect early in the season. And he doesn't even have a lot of line mates to really help him out for it. He has not been a passenger by any means. He's committed to the University of Michigan, so he should only develop his offense and his scoring touch further. I'm very big on guys who have committed to the NCAA because I think the path is more certain for them. And with JP Hurlbert, I think you won't need to do as much guesswork as you will probably be doing with other WHL forwards this year. At number 21, I have Ilya Mrazza from Miami, Ohio. He's a personal favorite of mine. 6'3", 200 and some pounds, playing center in the NCAA, putting up 9 points in 8 games. This guy is really, really solid. He's got a comfy spot on his first line. He's a big frame. He's got hard-nosed work ethic too, and he's got a bit of a scoring touch too. I like his shot. I like a lot of things with his game. He's a bit of an awkward skater, got a big awkward stride, but the way that he thinks the game, the way that he's been physically playing the game and showing how effective he is in the NCAA. He's in a fast division. It's been so much for me where I'm now at the point where I wish I put him in my top 20. The offensive skills are what draw back for me a little bit. Again, I would love to see some more dynamism. I want to see him continue this hot pace that he's been on so far. And believe me, middle six and top six centers don't come along so often, but I really think Morozov will more project towards maybe second line, but more middle six center here. If he is going to be anything better than that, he's going to show it in the coming weeks, and believe me, it'll reflect in my lists. At 22, I have Marcus Nordmark from the hockey factory known as Djurgårdens. The exciting Swedish class continues with this electric forward here. His production has been consistent as it can be in this early stage, putting up impressive numbers every single night for the J20 squad and in the recent Five Nations tournament. He's looked like he's been in easy mode in the J20, and it's only a wonder for me why he has not been up in the SHL sooner this year. He has not played a single game in the SHL, but right now he's putting up really good numbers in the J20. He's got a very solid shot, great playmaking abilities. His skating is also above average as well. The main thing that's drawing me back here is, again, I want to see him do this at the SHL. There are guys playing in the Liga and dominating. There are guys playing in the NCAA and putting up numbers. There are guys playing in the SHL putting up numbers. The Allsvenskan. It is crucial for European players to be multifaceted in their different leagues. If he spends the whole year in the J20, that'll be a bit of an asterisk for me for his big point total. At 23, I have defenseman Yuo Pipparinan, one of the best names in the class, but size and mobility, like I say every single time, are an attractive mix for scouts when they're looking at their young defenders. He is not one of those big 6'4" and up defenders, but he certainly plays with the physicality of one. He's currently listed at 6'1", 200 pounds as a right shot, but you wouldn't believe it, honestly. This guy is very mobile, very quick, but also very good at defending rushes. I think his proven ability to stop rushes and be a wall in the defensive zone, I would say a pretty mobile wall in the defensive zone, has really contributed to him getting a lot of favor with scouts in this early part of the year. I can totally see him holding down a top 10 spot if he gets a little bit more production, a little bit more offensive production in this year. Maybe he could make the World Junior squad. That'd be pretty awesome. At 24, I have Beckham Edwards from the Sarnia Sting. Despite his awkward skating posture, Beckham Edwards tends to motor very well in both the offensive and defensive zones. Don't let him get away from you because he can cause breakaways with his elusivity and sneaky quickness. He also has a very high IQ to extend plays in the neutral zone and offensive zone. His solid stick handling can help him excel in transition, and though I would like to see him penetrate the middle of the ice more often, he's been very excellent in the offensive zone to this point. His NCAA commitment is going to Notre Dame, and that's the rough and tough Big Ten. You know I like that, so his future is more certain than most. I really like to predict Beckham Edwards as a really solid middle six center. At 25, I have from the Brandon Wheat Kings, Yorgos Pantelis. I hope I got that correct. If you're Greek and you heard that, please comment below to let me know if I got that right, and if I didn't, oh, sorry. There are few defensemen more fun to watch in this draft class than Pantelis. 6'2", 214 pounds as a right shot, but whew, he can fly up the ice. This guy has some really fun rush opportunities, and he joins the rush. He creeps into the offensive zone. He becomes an option, but then he's a great rush defender as well. He is hard-nosed. He's mean. He will throw you against the boards. He skates very, very well, and his energy in the defensive zone is inspiring too. It really seems like this guy has had just a 5-hour energy before every single game. I could see him absolutely moving up during the rest of this season. He's a bit raw, but his energy makes up for his less polished details, and man, the top 20 could be stacked with defensemen by January. At 26, I have Igor Shilov from Victoriaville in the QMJHL. The turnaround for Victoriaville kind of stopped, but it was started by Igor Shilov and Alexei Vlasov earlier on this season. Shilov has shown some excellent habits as a center. He has been a marvelous distributor and has gelled very well with other players like Vlasov. I'm also reassured of his continued growth with his commitment to BU next season. It would be pitiful for him to play another year with Victoriaville, but so far he's showing some really excellent strides on a honestly piss poor team this year. At 27, I have the mobile Charlie Morrison for the Quebec Rempart. Man, have I become a believer in Charlie Morrison's games. 6'3" and about 200 pounds. He has played only 7 games this year, and I'm still a big believer in the game that he can play. He is playing a ton of tough defensive minutes, but he's become more of a rush defender. He's been pushing play up the ice. He has been supporting the rush as well. He is a big mobile guy, and honestly, when he has the puck, get out of his way. I'm predicting his stellar play will continue, and hopefully, he'll be in the running for a top 20 spot like a lot of defensemen on this list. At 28, I have Brooks Rogowski, standing at 6'6", though some think he is 6'7", and weighing in at an impressive 230 pounds and turning 18 on the day he'll be drafted. Brooks Rogowski is a man amongst boys in the OHL. His season started with just an okay Hlinka Gretzky tournament, which has evolved into a very respectable start with Oshawa points-wise this season. His main issue has been offensive consistency, and that's going to be the main distinction when we have to pin him down as a surefire middle six center or a defensive bottom sixer. But I love Brooks Rogowski, and honestly, I think he can hit upwards of 50 points this year before he goes to Michigan State next year. At 29, I have Luke Shirer from the USN TDP. He is committed to Boston University next year, and he's yet another 6'3", 200-pound right-hand shot defenseman. His defensive instincts have been absolutely brilliant to this point. I want to rank him higher, but it's been rough to get a great sample size of him from the USN TDP this season. The USN TDP has not been as great this year, second year in a row, so here's the hope that I think he'll get better and he'll be, honestly, a sharper prospect with the amount of defensive minutes he's had to log, but so far, in my opinion, he's been one of the best in this 30 to 15 range. We'll see what he does for the rest of the year. I'm a big fan of Shirer. I hope that he continues this awesome season that he's been having. At 30th, I have Pierce Bowie from the Owen Sound Attack. He has come alive points-wise for Owen Sound this year, and he has been small yet very aggressive as well. Though he weighs in at around the 160 mark, kind of like Gavin McKenna, he has some great offensive instinct and fight as well. He's committed to Penn State as well, so that'll be nice. It's a team that loves their small yet feisty forward. He's very smart. He won the Rookie of the Year in the OHL last season, so he's got that going for him as well. I'm a big fan of Pearson Bowie, and I honestly hope that he continues this streak because, man, is he a fun player to watch. I would love to see him, a smaller guy, crack his way into the top 30. Yet again, my next list. At 31, I have William Håkansson from Luleå in the SHL. Yeah, another 6'4", 200-some pound defensive defenseman who is really solid at shutting down the opposing offense, but is also very solid for the mobility. Are you tired of the script? I kind of am as well, but being an incredible rush defender, his ice time's been steadily increasing in the SHL. He's being trusted more with the puck, so I really think this guy is going to climb in my NHL rankings. He's going to be a more and more valued prospect. Honestly, him and Malte Gustoson are going to fight for who's going to be the exact same type of prospect, but who's going to be the better ranked one. I think middle pairing guys are rarely come along looking this polished, so I'm a big fan of Håkansson at this point, and yeah, he may climb my list as well. And at 32, the last first rounder I have projected, I have Jack Hextall from the Youngstown Phantoms. After being a large part of the gold medal winning USA team at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament, Jack Hextall has cooled off a little bit in the USHL. His upside as a playmaker has been well documented and undoubtable to this point, but what's recently be coming into question his ability to drive offense for himself. Yeah, we've seen his ice time decline for guys like Cooper Simpson and Ryan Ruchinski have been putting up gobs and gobs of points for the Phantoms this year. I still believe in Hextall, and I think his future is very certain with a Michigan State commit, but his future as a two-way playmaking center has not been as offensively dynamic as some would have hoped to this point. Well, that's it for my top 32, but I just wanted to quickly run through the names that just barely made the list. I will say this is in no particular order, so if you think that I'm not ranking the last guy that I say close to the top, you may be completely wrong. So here we go, the guys that almost made the list. My honorable mentions for this list: Nicholas Aram Olsen from Orebro, Caleb Malhotra from Brantford, Thomas Sharenko from Nitra, Landon Neese from UMass, Chase Harrington from Spokane, Adam Valentini from Michigan, Alessandro Diorio from Sarnia, Landon Hafley from Green Bay, Lincoln Keene from Arizona State, Laver Galashaw from Yekaterinburg, Brady Wasselin from London, Samu Alulauri from Lahti in the Pelicans in the Liga. Oh yeah, I said that name. Lars Steiner from Roy Noranda, and Oscar Hemming from Sherwood Park, Kitchener, Boston College. We don't know that, but we'll see. He's been really solid, so I'm a big fan of him. That's it for all the prospects I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, it was long. It was a big list, but I wanted to get a top 32 out to you guys because I've been bad at posting. I'm not going to lie to you. It will be better next semester because I don't have as big a workload. Again, I said I would talk about it at the end of the video, but I have a very large and big capstone for my senior year, and it's been tough. I haven't been able to post as much, but you guys have been supporting my Twitter, you've been supporting my Instagram, you've been supporting me and Mark's podcast, The Draft Board, on his channel, so I really am thankful for that. Thank you guys for doing that. But yeah, that concludes my top 32 and honorable mentions for November. I will see you guys back here for another ranking around January. We'll definitely be post World Juniors, and I also am going to come out with a little video as well. The scouting reports will be coming out soon as well. There will be more in-person scouting reports that might come out just after January. I'm just going to write a ton and do that as well. Maybe try to publish 2 or 3 before the World Juniors, as well as giving you a World Juniors preview, a proper one, not one that's not rushed as well. I think you guys are going to really enjoy what I have coming up in the next coming months, and I promise you, and I also hope that I will not be as busy with school over the next few months as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. After all this time, I'm back, and you guys are watching my videos again, so that's great. I would love for you to like and subscribe if you made it to the end of this video. Maybe go check out my Twitter at LinkDanceSavage. Maybe go check out New Wave Hockey. I have a website where I just posted an article which is way longer and way more succinct than I could ever put into a video. It's also got a reasoning behind all of my honorable mentions, so you can go check that out right now. But as for me, I'm your host, LinkDanceSavage, signing off.